Let's take a step back. Let's go back
go
to
in the
your
past?
childhood. Yeah.
Childhood a little
Where'd
bit.
you grow up? How'd you grow up? Mom, dad,
happened?
brothers, sisters, lay it on us.
What?
Just straighten your mic a little bit. Sorry.
Bro, you're so good.
I
We're good,
apologize for the
We're good,
long
we're good,
hair.
We're good, man. I love you, man. I don't know. My therapist says that I can't believe you're alive.
Sure.
Because
You had
you
a bumpy ride in the
Right.
beginning, right?
right, because when you grew up like the way I did, you turn out a certain way. And I took all like my defense mechanisms and my survival tools
Mm-hmm.
and I used it to my advantage. You know what I mean? To make money
Okay.
and to have a career, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if like I lived in Korea, I would just be like on opium probably, like, and I'd probably be a koi fish farmer or some weird shit like that, right? Or carrying rice.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I would have no future.
Sure.
But only in this country, I think you can
Where you're
turn
able
your
to,
pain
Yeah,
into
harness it and do something good with it.
Right. So my dad was
Where were you born?
San Diego.
You were born in San Diego.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just remember like being born and then it just being really cold, like the feeling, like even temperature wise. I don't know why, because we moved to Minnesota right when I was born.
Really?
Yeah, so we lived in Minnesota. There were no other Asians. Edina, Minnesota, and like I was bullied. The kids would throw ice at my face and go Eskimo. You know what I mean? Always like
Jesus.
running from them. And then like I'd come home and my dad would be like drunk and he was very violent. You know what I mean? And then like he would beat up my mom and stuff.
Okay.
And like she would come into my room with no teeth and bloody mouth and like
Jesus.
it was like pretty crazy.
Serious shit.
Yeah, serious. And my brother and I would just fart on each other. And like,
Hey, it was a good bit back then. It's
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
bit today.
yeah.
You can't.
And like
If it
we would
works, it
like
works.
show each other our penises and
Uh-huh.
like do like puppet tricks with our little yellow penises. They were like minions before minions, you know what I mean? Like little yellow, like you know what I mean? We go, you know,
Little
and,
goggles
You guys
on
were
him?
beeping at each
yeah,
other.
beep, 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 yeah, and it was like pretty cool, It was pretty cool, and then
Sounds like a
The way
good
he
time.
looked over for that's pretty cool, right, guys?
yeah, it's pretty cool, right? Yeah, but, you can't do that on live, but you know what I mean. But we did it, amongst ourselves,
Sure.
and then I guess there was this guy that had Down syndrome down the street when we lived in Minnesota, and he he molested me. He molested me. He molested me. So that was cool. Anyway, right? Good times. We having good? Yeah,
Sure,
we're having good. Yeah.
of
Did you get out of Minnesota?
Well, I'm going to talk about the molestation if I may.
Sure,
Go
yeah.
right ahead.
Yeah. May I talk about it?
Please.
Yeah.
Am I garbage yet, or we don't know yet? We don't know yet.
No, but you are crazy.
Do you think I'm a crazy person?
No, I think you're no, you're awesome. You're the best.
Because I'm going to tell you something. This is the first time I've been on this podcast, and the next time I come on, if I ever do come on, it'll be different.
What do you? Yeah, no, this
Because
is
I'm just
great.
trying to like,
Buddy, this is what it is. We want to hear your
Yeah.
story.
I know, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like when I guest star on like a TV show, you want to be as good as you can be,
Uh-huh.
so you get invited back.
Uh-huh.
The next time I come back, it'll be 50%.
That's great. I understand.
You're really gonna phone it in. The
I
next
I'm going to
appreciate
phone it in
that.
a
You're
second
just there for
time,
the chat.
but right now I'm nervous.
Sure.
So it just comes out like this because I really want you guys to like me.
We love you.
I know,
love
so and I want the hippie to like me, and I want your fans to like me. So it's coming out like
Our
kind of
fans are all
erratic.
your fans. You're one of the
Yes.
most requested guests. we've had.
100%.
We're together.
We're
on
in this
one.
together.
Yeah.
baby.
And I have to say, as a side note, for white guys, you guys have my body, like my shape, my personality, and it's not a good thing for you. It's really not a good thing for you. But when I looked at you, because you look at Andrew Schultz and you look at
Yeah.
Stefano, they're like human
They're
looking.
like, yeah.
Yeah, and they do. They look not mythological. They look like they can stick their penises in anything. You know what I mean? You guys look like incels. Like you guys look.
We do beep
so-
our penises at
Yeah,
each other
yeah,
when
yeah,
no
yeah.
one's in here.
My mother was a Minotaur. to be honest with you.
Yeah. Like I don't know anyone in LA that even has your vibe. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Maybe like there's some homeless comedians. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? If you go to open mic late at night.
I love how he sat there. He's like, I'm gonna be nice this episode.
No,
We're
I mean,
gonna have
no,
fun."
I'm just trying because I feel the same.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? I go.
Yeah.
I think that you guys are white versions of me, and that's why I'm blessed to be here. That's what I'm saying. It's
Yes.
a compliment.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah,
so
yeah,
much
yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
that wonderful, wonderful compliment.
Because you guys, I know you guys you have a girlfriend.
I have a wife.
You have a wife. You have a girlfriend.
Girlfriend, yeah.
right? And that to me is like mind-boggling. It really is. To me, it's like, oh my god.
To us too.
Yeah.
honest with you.
It works. It's working.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Hey.
That means you have
Sense of humor goes a long way.
because those guys, DeStefano and Schultz and these guys, right? they have their looks to get them by, right?
Anybody
Good-looking
can get
kids.
chicks. Anybody can get broads when you look good.
Right.
Do it looking like us.
But
all right?
with us, dude, it's like we're like miracles.
Mm-hmm.
Like we are like killing the game, right? And we're also paving the way for other uglies,
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
So
we're storming the beaches here.
yeah. And now let me say something, right?
Okay.
If you lost weight,
Yeah.
you could have like a Gary Gulman vibe, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you,
You got no
Yeah,
shot, Baldy.
you have no shot.
That's
Anyway,
fine.
let's go back to the molestation. Why not?
Yeah. Let's get back to the fun stuff.
I never thought I would say that, but
Yeah.
please, let's.
Yeah, I don't. Am I being rude?
No.
Tommy,
okay, okay.
oh my god! I also, it's yeah. You're so good and so funny that the fact of he's like, yeah, I'm gonna be playing nice. But nah, well, we're making fun of each other. I'm not gonna make fun of you guys. And then he just fucking crippled. Did we get 18 minutes in? He's like, good night.
Oh yeah. Well, no. I was just telling the truth.
I,
We
That-
love
yeah,
well, that's
I'm not,
why I
I'm
love
not
you.
being mean.
Yeah, no,
No,
I'm being
we don't
honest.
think that.
So anyway,
I think you're being a little mean, but that's just me. We're being honest.
Oh, yeah.
Is the honesty? Yeah.
oh yeah.
So you're in Minnesota.
So I
What did your mom and dad do for a living? What was your dad doing?
My dad owned clothing stores called Fashion Gal.
He owned them.
Yeah, and we owned. Well, my uncles and my dad owned like 75 stores across the
Whoa.
country.
So he did well.
Yeah, they did. We
Your
did
dad
well.
was doing well.
Yeah.
But still with the booze and the abuse and stuff like
Well,
that.
he was like, he didn't obviously drink at work, but he would drive around at the stores and this and that. But he would come home and get drunk, and then I would always like hide in my room
Jesus.
because you never knew
What
was
bad
gonna
you were
happen.
get,
You know,
yeah.
he turned into like Incredible Hulk, but he didn't grow. Like and he's yellow.
No,
but,
I got
yeah, but
He was a bad
he was a
drunk.
bad dude. Yeah,
He was a
and
bad
he would pick up kitchen tables and throw it at people. It was crazy.
Jesus.
And so anyway, and then I was molested by the guy with Down syndrome down the street. That's what my brother says. My brother says that. And then
You blocked it out. You don't remember.
I think I think there's some imagery of the shack and then Zamboni. You know what a Zamboni is?
Like the
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he took care of the Zamboni in this
The
outside
local ice rink.
ice
Gotcha.
rink down the street from me. Yeah, and I think he molested a bunch of kids, but I went there every day. You know what I mean? In the summer because he had candy. I love candy. You know what I mean? And so I don't think anything happened where like I think I just jerked him off and you know what I mean? I stuck my fingers in his
Ass.
yeah
Yeah.
his disfigured butthole.
Uh-huh. Never forget it.
Kid really likes the Snickers, huh? Jesus Christ.
And so and then then we moved to San Diego at the age of 11.
For business? Like it was like
Yeah, my dad goes, "Let's move." Right? We're like,
Right.
"Nothing." Yeah, and then we
So
went.
he went too. The family stayed together. He went with you to San Diego.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Okay.
he's always been there.
Okay.
Yeah. And when we moved there, it was the best because I saw like dudes like Filipinos,
Sure.
Oh, people you can relate
like
to. Yeah.
my age, with full blown mustaches at age 11.
Mhm.
Right? I had like skater kids and
Right.
like. This is back in the days where like Bones Brigade and all these things
yeah,
were
that was
happening.
the coolest shit back then. Yeah.
It's cool as shit, yeah. And I just remember this kid like flipping over his skateboard and like putting out a line of meth
Jesus.
across the street from me, and I didn't even ask what it was. I was like, "Can I have some?" Right? He's like, "Yeah, dude."
Is that
You know what I mean?
candy?
Yeah. And it would snort that, and then like I'm talking about 11, 12. You know what I mean? Like young.
Damn. Is this
It's just skating fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this a nice neighborhood you guys moved into?
Yeah.
The family had a little bit of money. You moved into
Yeah,
a nice
nice
place.
neighborhood.
You're down in San Diego. You get a little bit more of a wider cultural experience, a little bit more familiar.
Yeah.
Nobody grabbing at you. Fucking
Like the bullying was different, non-existent.
Right, yeah.
Because
Multicultural.
You got the squatter at
multicultural. Yeah. And then I'm sure Minnesota's different now, but in
Maybe.
the 70s, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. That makes total sense.
And then my dad had this refrigerator where he'd stock alcohol, you know what I mean? And because he was an alcoholic. And I could sneak in there and drink as many beers, no one would know.
Really?
So it was just I just started my alcoholism and drug addiction
At
that
a young age,
early, And then I just got all Fs
Okay.
in school. I was on the wrestling team and tennis team.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Any good?
Yeah, I'm pretty athletic, you know what I mean? But other than that, like I was just a failure, you know what I mean? I just, and then every time you would bring home like an F to your violent Korean dad and your mom, they would get violent and
No good,
crazy. And it was just
Was
like
your brother good in school?
he was up until his senior year, and then he kind of drifted. But yeah, he was like the Christian, he went to church and he also, got straight A's. And then I don't know what happened.
That's a tough comparison because my brother was really good in school and I was terrible at school.
Yeah.
And that just makes you look
You
even
look
worse.
even worse.
worse.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Did
Help
you
me
hate your
out
brother?
No, I loved him.
Yeah, I love my brother
Yeah,
too.
I love him 100%.
And then I went to rehabs. I just remember in high school, went to 2 or 3, like 1 detox, 2 regular rehabs, and then I
Damn.
Nice
ones, though, out there in California.
Yeah, McDonald's Center was the one that got me, in La Jolla.
Okay.
And that's where see, I believe what's so funny?
I don't know you. I love you.
Yeah, I believe that nothing happens. Everything happens for a reason.
Okay.
And I believe in sort of like this cosmic thing where like if you do make the right choices, that there's a path and things just fall in line the way it's supposed to. And I don't fight it. You know what I mean? Plus, when you're growing up in a immigrant home, you there's no life skills that you learn because I don't know the Korean language. My parents never taught me anything about anything. Like everything that I learned was through like Scorsese movies or whatever, you know what I mean? Like Mean Streets. You know what I mean? Like I would rent movies and watch them. So it's like I had no life skills. So like when I went to that rehab, my junior year in high school, McDonald's Center, that's where I kind of learned how to live, you know what I mean? And learned things. And I learned that, things kind of happen for a reason and that I'm supposed to be at that rehab. And I just kind of bought into all that, right? So it's like, I went to rehab in La Jolla. I got sober in La Jolla. I grew up in a town called Poway, which is like 45 minutes away, right? So every A meeting I went to was in La Jolla. Now, what's in La Jolla? The Comedy Store.
There you go.
So after high school, I moved to La Jolla because that's where all my sober friends were, and I started working there. And I happened to have a job at a coffee shop that was attached to the Comedy Store, the one that you went to.
Yeah.
It used to be a place called Disc Cafe. It was owned by 91X Radio, which was like the alternative station. And I had orange hair, like I'd bleached my hair. I was really into like early Sonic Youth and the Fugazi.
Southern California.
Sub Pop, all that stuff.
Yeah. Sub Pop shit, right? And I just remember getting change because we would need to get change from the Comedy Store, for the coffee shop. And so I met Fred Burns at the time, was the manager of the La Jolla Comedy Store. And then the girl that I was working with at this cafe, her boyfriend was a guy named Mike Carano, who was the manager of the Pacific Beach Improv, who still works for the Improv now.
Damn.
So you have to imagine I'm in La Jolla and I'm surrounded by comedy indirectly, right? Because Mike would go, hey, after shift, we're going to go see Brian Regan at PB Improv. And I would go, I'd see Bobcat Goldthwait. And I was really like, I would like stand-up when I would watch it.
Yeah, but it wasn't like speaking to you. It wasn't like pulling you.
Right.
In,
It's until I saw like an open mic where I was like, I can do that.
Yeah, that's, you see someone do it bad. You're like, I'm fucking better than this idiot.
Yeah. So I just remember like this cafe closing. I'm still sober. So I got sober at 17. And then I'm 23 years old now, living in La Jolla, working like restaurant jobs and shit. My coffee shop job closed. And I was walking by the La Jolla Comedy Store, and they happened to have a help wanted sign.
Damn.
And I knocked on the door because I knew Fred. And I go, hey, dude, I'm the guy next door. He's like, oh, yeah, I know you. And I go, can I get a job? He's like, well, I only hire stand-ups. And I was just like, well, I'm thinking about doing it, which I don't know if I was or not.
Sure.
But, and I got a job there as a bar back. And then 2 weeks later, I was on stage.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
that's how it, and then it happened quick for me. Like I did it 3 months later. Carlos Mencia, you know him?
Yes.
You like him?
He's a good friend, yeah. No, yeah, I don't know him, but yeah, I know who he is.
Who is he?
He's a guy you used to work with. You really got me in the hot seat here, Bobby.
From the vibes you're giving, it's a guy you don't like.
I love him.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like a bro. Dude, I wouldn't be here without him and Pauly Shore.
Sure.
So I'm just asking you.
No.
He's my friend. How do you feel about him?
He's the guy who does the compilations of jokes, right?
That was rude.
You son of a bitch. You dirty hippie son of a bitch. True, but fuck you. No, so But do you like what's your feeling toward him?
I knew of him before I got into comedy, so I didn't understand all of the unwritten
Okay, good.
rules and all of that
All right.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
Before my time.
Yeah,
Before our
I don't
time.
have any real understand or any skin in the game, or really know what happened.
Right.
I have some.
I have to say one thing about him. One of the best performers I've ever seen.
He's
Okay.
I mean,
He was a murder machine.
Yeah, of course.
You know. So when I was there, Fred would have me host the Saturday night show.
Okay.
One show. If you were a doorman there was a rule that you get to do 5 minutes. So you have to imagine, like, I was just chomping at the bits because you would have Hollywood guys come down there and headline.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as Mencia went up, his manager was there, signed me. So I'm
Really?
gonna do 5 minutes. And then Paulie was there.
5 minutes, you got signed?
Well, he's just like, I'll like
Sure,
hip pocket you
yeah,
was a
yeah,
term back then. Like, I'm not
uh-huh.
gonna give you a contract.
I'll bring you under my
Sure.
wing a little
But
bit.
I'll like think about you. You know what I mean? And if that something comes my way, I'll help you. And then Paulie saw me and he was just like open for me. So like, I think within a year of doing stand up, so I was 23. I went up and opened for Paulie in Vegas
Jeez.
in front of like 5,000 seats. I only had like 5 minutes, right? And I went up there and his mom was there, and his mom made me a regular at all her
Off
clubs,
that, wow.
right? So it's like, yeah, it happened kind of fast. So it's like I was like, oh, I went from the street to knocking on that door. But that's the thing I was saying, that I believe
All of those
that
things.
Rehab to all those things were I'm just kind of waking up and just showing up to things. You know, you have to show up to things and you have to try,
Mm-hmm.
right? But those are the only two rules that I've really gone by. It's like I try and I wake up and I show up and let's just see what happens, right? So it's like I have no real skill set, or people go, you're talented. I don't know. I guess, but I'm just doing it.
Sure. I
Right.
see what you're saying,
and so that's
yeah.
my kind of like philosophy
That's
in
your
life.
view on it, yeah.
So I just kind of like started doing this, and then all of a sudden I'm like here. Like that's why I'm right here, because I just kind of I'm following this path.
Kind of, kind of flow, going with the flow.
But I've like gone in and out of sobriety since So I had 12 years, 17 years of sobriety, and then now only have 7 months.
Okay.
Oh, hey, baby, back on the horse, going with the flow. I love it.
Oh, in high school I sucked dick. I forgot to tell you that. To go back.
There was no Zambonis either.
Yeah, it's a Pulp Fiction, like a Pulp Fiction podcast where we're just doing a Pulp Fiction-y kind of a thing.
So you go through the flow of the universe. You blew a couple of guys
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
can't tell time.
Yeah.
That's where we're at, ladies and
yeah.
gentlemen.
Yeah,
Just to
I'm not
catch
gay.
up.
I'm not gay, but I just did it.
Yeah.
Because
A
I'm
lot of
like,
people suck dick that aren't gay.
yeah, I'm like open to like let's try it. You know what I mean?
Figure it
And then
out.
you're like, I don't like it. You know what I mean? But then you try a couple times. Anyway. Yeah.
Flow of the universe,
Yeah.
man.
But hey, but the reason why
Talk about showing up. Let's
Yeah.
go.
But can I touch?
Please.
Yeah. The reason why I love New York so bad, I love it so much, and bad, is that when I started doing comedy, I was kind of like I was doing like dad jokes and like like more positive, you know what I mean? And I remember coming to New York and I had to play a club called for Caroline.
Caroline.
Yeah. What are you looking at?
Nothing.
There's a sound.
He's looking at the camera.
No, but there's a sound.
It's the elevator.
Yeah.
But you've never heard a sound before, Bobby? Check in. It's a podcast. We're broadcasting
Yeah,
here.
because I'm trying to give New York its props.
Okay.
Right. Many years ago, I did Caroline's, and I could only do like 20 minutes. This is after Mad TV, and they're like, "You can headline, but I only can do 20 minutes."
Sure.
So I remember like no one, like it was hard to sell tickets, and so they made me go on Opie and Anthony,
Yeah.
and I was like first time I went on, that was terrible, but I remember learning how to do this kind of new brand of being more honest
Open.
and be open and all that kind of stuff. So I learned that through, seeing Geraldo and Patrice and Norton and all those Voss and Opie and Anthony, and those guys kind of taught me how to like defend myself. The reason why I'm mean, I was saying that you guys look ugly and this and that, that's not my nature.
I don't remember you saying that.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Tell
bringing
us
it back
again.
up. Yeah.
No, I think New York comedy kind of brought that out of me.
That's
what I mean?
great.
And
Yeah, I mean, that's a
it
good
fits more my
personality.
brand and my
yeah.
personality, but it's like, and I feel way more comfortable being evil, but it's like, but I learned that through being here in this town. I love this town, man. You know what I mean?
It's a great city.
Yeah.
It's a dump, but it's a great
More
city.
questions. I think I talk too much. So why don't you guys talk
No,
amongst yourselves?
you're the guest on a podcast.
Talk amongst
You guys-
yourselves.
I'll be back. We're gonna get you smoke.
So is there other questions? Let's go.
Yeah.
Of course, we haven't even scratched the surface. That was a great backstory.
It was a good origin story.
Fantastic
Pretty
origin
good, yeah,
story.
Yeah.
And it makes me love you even more, to be honest with you, man. And you deserve everything.
I'm
that
still
you
on the
have.
fence a little bit, but that's just me, Bobby.
I don't think so.
No, I'm
I see your eyes.
I'm in the Bobby pool.
Yeah,
baby. I love
We're
it.
together, dude.